Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 75 of Wise Wednesdays with RK. Sorry we're late. First of all, I do apologize for being late. A little bit of a technical glitch, and interesting, isn't it? Because our topic for conversation today is untwist, smooth out. And guess what? We needed to untwist certain things and get on board. My star speaker for today is Pikki Nanda, a friend, a mentor, a lovely soul, someone who will nudge you when needed, someone who will push you when needed, someone who will say, I will slap you when needed. So she's got with her 40 years plus of experience. She's an Erickson International Certified Solutions Focused Coach, a mouthful, and she is right here. Not going to delay you anymore and just add you to the stream. Thank you so much, Pikki, for being here with us.
Thank you, Ruqya, for having me on the show.
Thank you. So it's interesting because when I bring a friend on board, and yes, these are all my friends that you get to meet on the show. And I'd like to thank you, whoever's listening on the live as well as who will catch up on the replay, and just say thank you for your time because these are people that I bring from my circle of genius, and Pikki is definitely one of those geniuses that I know. And what I do is when I onboard a speaker, I say, would you please tell me what you would like to speak on? And Picky picked untwist, smooth out. I was a little confused when I saw that, but I thought, let me just ask her on the show what it means. Yes,
I
Picky.
can't hear you.
What does untwist, smooth out mean?
Okay, so untwist is basically you change direction. You need to explore possibilities and challenge yourself. Be open to challenging yourself. Now, this can be done slowly, or it can be something you don't need to dwell on.
Hmm.
Um, in smooth out, it means clear up. So when you're untwisting, you need to clear up. So once you're clearing up your thinking, the processes, it's like digging in a garden. You know, you want to plant some seeds, and the mud, the sand, everything is rough. So you got to untwist that process and smooth out so you can plant those seeds in. So that's the same way it is.
Super. So, Picky, your journey of 40 plus years of experience, right? So, what are some areas or some things that you have had to smooth out on?
Good one, Rukia.
Thank you.
There are quite a few areas you have to smooth out and untwist in the process. So, um, the areas which I had to do were a bit of a challenge because um, you have to change countries. So, you change a lot of countries. So, you're moving from one country to another. So, there's a cultural difference. Then there is job changes. So you meet completely new set of people all the time. Um, Even as a child, changing schools, universities, the whole process. At that time, you feel, hey, I got to lose friends again. But then I think you become more wide open, and your whole system is expanded. You want to you feel one with everyone because basically we're all the same. That's what I realized. Everyone is the same. So the experience of 40 years in a nutshell brought me closer to different people, different cultures, different situations, different challenges. Um, I don't think it's cultural challenges so much as the regular challenges you have in jobs with office politics and who wants to go ahead and Are you maintaining those deadlines and all that? So there's a lot of things you got to work out on.
True that. Um, Now, when I look at the word untwist,
Mhm.
so what is the underlying message I'm receiving? What the underlying message I'm receiving is that something is already twisted, therefore we have to untwist it,
Mhm.
right?
Which is true. Which is true.
Could you tell
Carry
me
on.
more of that?
Um, See, when I'll talk from my experience. So when you work in organizations, um, you join a company. There's a lot of twisted stuff going on
Twisted
in the
mind.
work. In the work. So you got to, take a seat back when you join, and then look around you, and then slowly and steadily, one by one, step by step, start untwisting and start finding where it's going, and then lead it to smooth out.
Hmm. Now that makes sense. Now the title completely makes sense to me because when I was looking at it from my twisted mind, I was wondering, okay, how do you untwist? It's because you're starting with an untwist, which means there's this underlying message that things are already twisted. And also, I'm looking at it from the perspective of when you twist, don't you get a catch? You get a bit of a catch in your back, and isn't that going to be complicated? So yes, untwisting and smoothing it out. Awesome. So we've got Anita watching. Hi, Anita. We've got Simone, we've got Vidya, we've got Vandana. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We've got a few other people who are joining, who've joined. Do leave us your names. Let us know where you're joining from and use this opportunity to speak to Pikki, ask her some questions, and just enjoy the conversation because, as I said, she's a blessing to have a conversation with.
Mhm.
Awesome. So Vandana says, my pleasure. Thank you so much. All right. So, what? So you are, and have been in the HR field, yes,
Correct.
right? So, and
Mhm.
you believe in equipping people more than just motivating them.
Right.
Tell us more about that, please.
Okay. So, as you know, in the HR field, you become more of the person who wants the whole team and organization to grow with you, not just your growth. Um, you're a people's person, so you want everyone to move ahead. Now, the challenge is when teams don't match up, or within teams there are issues. So there's conflict management, there is communication issues. So how to do that, how to break it down, how to make sure people are moving in the right direction upwards. Now, for that, I used to do many training programs and things like that, interdepartment and stuff. So that helps because it takes the person or the team to be more open. The problem is everyone is trying to work for themselves.
Hmm.
They don't look at the other person. They don't look at empowering the next person sitting with them. They want to just be themselves, be in the limelight. Now, that's not the way in an organization. You need to empower others and collaborate with others, work with others for the whole team to move ahead, the
Hmm.
whole organization to move ahead. And that is not easy for people to understand. It is a process. So it takes time. It does a lot of sessions, a lot of feedback, a lot of mentoring, a lot of um, task divisions, and uh, deadlines to be maintained and all that, and the follow-ups. So that's very important. The success is when you see, even if there are a couple of people who actually stand out, who were actually just wild cards or just people who were there, and then they suddenly bloom out. So that's the success you get. And that makes me very happy all the time.
Now, you're talking from the HR perspective, working in organizations, right? But
Mhm.
what if we were to take the same conversation into the home environment? Because we will have people from the home environment also who will be watching, right? So
Yeah,
tell us
so
a
we're
little about
talking
that.
about family conflicts. We're talking about family bond together, right? So it applies similarly, but it's a more closed environment because um, there also, I don't know, I don't think the man and the wife, there's a difference in who the head of the family is. They're both heads. Sometimes
Yep,
someone takes the lead, sometimes another one takes the lead. So it doesn't really matter.
true.
So whoever is understood by the rest of the family, be it the children or be it the parents or whoever, that person should take the lead. And the others, or the husband or the wife, should support the person. Now, the communication has to be very, very open. Now, there may be resistance. People will go back and, say, no, I don't understand this. I don't need this. But you got to keep nudging, as you say, and keep pushing forward. That's very important.
That's true.
It breaks down. It breaks down.
Yep, it does. And I think a lot of times where we get it wrong is where people feel like one has to lead.
Right.
I think, as you rightfully said, when one person is leading, the other has to follow suit. But also knowing that you both are one team, as in the couple is the one team. Because I've known where, where the when the parents are not in alignment, the children get impacted. And I think
True.
it works the same way when we look at it from the organizational perspective. Those who are the superiors need to be working in alignment with each other in synchronicity so that they can kind of convey the right message to their subordinates and as they delegate the tasks.
Correct. Absolutely right. I agree.
We have a message from Vandana. She says the fabric of any organization or any situation is made up of many threads twisted together. So I like the idea of untwisting it all to understand things better. Thank you so much, Vandana.
Thanks, Vandana.
So, yes, untwisting things to understand them. What were some things that you had to untwist in your own self to understand yourself better? Because I'm sure this was a journey, right?
Yes, it was a long journey. I think you got to go inwards. You got to go inwards and be with yourself for some time and, connect with yourself, connect with your soul or your higher self or whatever you call it. And you will find it. It comes to you. And once it comes to you, I mean, the coming may take time or may come with a flash. You are fighting with yourself inside and you're trying to say, no, no, I must listen to this outer person. No, no, I must listen to my inner voice. No, 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 I don't understand it anymore. Let me see what I have to do. And then you actually start connecting with yourself. You're more calmer with yourself, and you just find it. And then these outward noises, the outward drama, doesn't really bother you anymore because you are in your zone. You are there. And that's very important.
Yeah, but sometimes it is hard, right, to pay attention to the inner voice. because the outward drama is so loud, and it's not just one person doing the drama. There's so many people who make up our world, who make up our the people around us. So how do you then kind of block them out, or whatever needs to get done? What needs to get
You can't block people out. You can't do that. It
done?
is what you got to take in.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
what are you taking in, Ruqya? That's
Hmm.
important. So are you going to take in all the drama? And are you going to walk with it everywhere? Are you going to carry it in your head? Are you going to then come to me and share it with me? No, that's not the point. The point is how you'll see the drama, you give a smile like you are a smile coach, and you back off.
Hmm. This reminds me of one of the interviews I had. I think it was 3 years ago, and one of the questions the person asked me was, if you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Mhm.
And I know they said animal, but I so instantly said a duck that nobody even I mean, realized that I said a duck, and they asked for an animal. But that isn't the point. The point is, when they said a duck, why would you be a duck? I said, because a duck is like water off a duck's back, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
and a duck is that interesting character who is in the pond, and it looks like it's total chill. It's kicking its legs like crazy underwater, but on the outside it looks very calm, composed, and in control. So this and they had such a laugh about it. I said, the only one thing that we really need to work on is the water of a duck's back, because even, I mean, that was 3 years ago. So things would affect me. You know, maybe a comment, maybe a remark, sometimes the feedback, sometimes my own judgment of myself, that would definitely pull me down. But I think I'm pretty much there when it comes to being a duck.
Yeah, you're a good duck.
Quack, quack.
That reminds me, there's a story about, um, you know, a mother giraffe delivering a baby giraffe. And delivering a giraffe is a tall order, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
No pun intended.
so, so the baby just, you know, lands on the ground with a boom because it's a big thing. And then it's lying there, and the mother is standing, and the mother is, you know, uh, what does the mother do? Let me rephrase it. The mother hits the giraffe with her legs, the baby giraffe. You know the story, maybe.
Oh, yes.
And and he and doesn't get up, hits again, doesn't get up, keeps hitting till the baby giraffe with the wobbly legs gets up,
Hmm.
right? But then what does the mother do? The mother hits the giraffe again with love, but with the same force. Why does she do it? Because she wants to make sure the baby keeps getting up fast enough when there are all those people trying to prey the young giraffe, all those animals and hunters and whoever. So it's the same way with us people, right? So we dream of that we want to do something and we want to accomplish it. When we're young, we dream a lot, right? I want to do this. I want to do this. I'll be that. I'll be this. But then we go and work, right? We keep working. So then they're beaten on the head, knocked down, and for years they keep working and working and working and working. And they're nowhere. So every time they're knocked down, they have to stand up, right? So it's that untwist and smooth out again. So you cannot destroy these people. And at the end of their lives, if you've accomplished something, then you are at the right place. Then you are meant to do that and you're set out for it. You were knocked out a number of times, but you keep pushing it. So that's the way it is. Like you, I'm not saying you're knocked out. I'm saying every day you give your 5 minutes, right? You tell the world a message. which is so important, such a dedication. And I admire that. And that's nobody is doing it. I think you need to get an award for it.
I've been looking. Trust me,
Good.
I've been looking, trying to figure out how to. Guys, if anybody knows how you can put me on an awards place like a Guinness World Record or some record,
Yeah.
let's see. Because, like, I've been showing up 1,255 today, every day,
Yeah.
back to back. So, but you know what? The award is just in presenting every day and knowing I have something to share. So I think that's bigger than anything else. So we have a
Yeah.
question here from Simone, a very
Mhm.
smart, interesting teenager that I very recently connected with. She says, "Does your does your subconscious mind affect you from untwisting yourself?" Good question.
Ah, it's a very good question. Thanks, Simone. Um, okay. Are we talking of subconscious or unconscious? Is it only subconscious?
Hmm.
Oh,
So, help us understand both because not everybody would, obviously, as coaches, we know what we're talking about, but break it down for the listeners, please.
so I mean, when you are in the, when you're working with yourself and you are trying to connect with yourself, there's a lot going on in your subconscious mind. So I think the subconscious works all the time. More, I think, when we're asleep. So it's doing its best at that time. Um, what do we regarding the unconscious? It's different because um, I think subconsciously you're still thinking, unconsciously you're just doing,
It
right?
becomes a
It's
habit.
just it becomes a habit. So that's what it is. Now, so what we think and the way we do it and how we change it reveals the thoughts that are directing the course of your life. So even if it's subconscious or unconscious, this is how it works. So untwisting your thoughts in your subconscious, I think you need to start thinking differently. You need to work on yourself. You need to look at the situation in another light, in another way. And I mean, that's what I think. Simone, did I answer your question or should I go further?
Hmm. So, question is, does your subconscious mind affect you from untwisting yourself? My take on that would be yes, it does, because to untwist yourself is to be uncomfortable. And your
True.
subconscious mind, the very first function of your subconscious mind is to keep you alive. And anything that your subconscious thinks is uncomfortable, it's going to be something new. So untwisting yourself is going to be new, and so your subconscious is definitely going to hold you back. And
Hmm.
that's where it's going to be important, as Coach Picky said, that you need to change the way you think, change the way you look at things, because one of those popular quotes by Dr. Wayne Dyer is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So if you start
True.
looking at untwisting yourself from a more open perspective, from looking at the pros of doing that as not the cons, not the uncomfort, then obviously you will feel more motivated, more driven to make that change.
Hmm. Correct.
So, all right. So tell me a little bit about. So we've smoothened things out. We've also untwisted. What are certain areas that you look at as a coach to support people?
Okay. Um, what I wanted to say here is as I'm a transformational solution focused coach, when would somebody know when actually transformation occurs?
Hmm.
So, so to get to that point, that okay, you're transformed and whatever you needed to be moving ahead to, you you go through various steps. So all those steps could be, I think, mainly identifying strengths in a problem situation, um, always exploring past successes, finding and using exceptions to the problem, then encouraging more questions and
Hmm.
asking the right questions, and being committed.
Hmm.
So, there are all of us who start something. So we say, okay, Ruqya, I'm going to start this. And then you say, hey, are you going to finish it? Yeah, yeah, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to do it. Don't you worry. But actually, only 10% actually reach the 90% zone of finishing the line. And then they stop. Then they stop there. They say, I'm almost done. But then you got to still push yourself further to actually finish the line. So, how many of us actually do that?
Hmm.
How do we develop that? What action do we take? Are we gonna nudge ourselves? Is somebody gonna nudge you and me, or
Hmm.
any of the audience, or anyone? So, like a simple experiment, which was done in Cornell. This was done in 2013, and it's about consumption of apples in high
Okay.
schools. So, so it went up to 71% in the cafeteria. Nobody was eating apples earlier. So, what made it change?
Hmm.
They started slicing the apples. So, with the slices, most students were eating it. So, it was a small nudge to eat an apple, to be healthier, and be there. So, so it was an achievement. So they achieved it. That was it. It's the
Hmm.
same way in life. Are we going to slice our movement, the way we want to go ahead, our problems, into small pieces of apple? What are we going to do? How do we reach where we want to reach? Um, how do we trust someone to push us in that direction, to take us along? And we don't need to blame life. Life happens to all of us all the time. People lack support, say, oh, that person didn't give me support, my family didn't do this, my friend refused to talk to me, this happened, that happened. Just take command and take off. That's what I say. That's how it is to be done, nothing more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have one more question that has come in from Anita. I will get to that. Prior to that, Simone says, I've got my answers. Thank you so much. She also
Thanks.
adds to say, I usually think that people affect our subconscious minds and thoughts more. And that way, maybe I thought it might affect us from untwisting the thoughts we somewhere know is wrong. Hmm. Okay, so that's a little clarity on what she was thinking. We've got Kunan watching. He says, our regular listener, thank you so much. And hi to the family because they watch together now. Uh, Great insights. It's good to be comfortable with uncomfortable to untwist. I like that. Thank you so much. So, our question from Anita is, how can we untwist if we are tightly twisted? My twisted friend asking this. Thank you.
So, how can we untwist if we are slightly twisted?
No, no, no. Tightly. Tightly, my friend.
Tightly, tightly. Wow.
Yes.
Tightly twisted.
Hmm.
Okay. Hmm. It's a good question, Anita. Um, so, how do you mean, Anita? Are you tightly twisted? Are you tightly twisted in some work or in your family? Where are you tightly twisted, or are you twisted somewhere with a tight mindset? Where is it? If Anita could tell me, I will focus more.
Okay, so type in your comments, and the others who are watching, tell us also. Do you think you are tightly twisted? So if give us a yes, give us a no, give us a maybe, and then that'll give Anita some time to kind of give her inputs. And as I read that question, the one thought that came to my mind was these jars that don't open, when they're so tightly twisted that they don't open. And as you answer her question, what's coming to my mind is you hold a jar that is tightly twisted, and this is a home hack here, under hot water. Right? You hold the bottle under warm water, running hot water, and it just unloosens with a plop. Right? It just so comfortably opens. So what if working with a coach was that hot water that somebody needs? Right?
Absolutely.
And
Right.
maybe,
I
maybe
agree
this
with you.
this could be the hot water that she needs, or somebody she knows needs, or whoever needs it right now. That we can find out a little bit more about how do you untwist if you are tightly twisted. Hey guys, no yes is coming in. A lot of us are tightly twisted. The fact that you're not writing that yes just means that you are tightly twisted. You are so stubborn that you're not even going to write a yes. So yes. Work. Anita says work. She's talking about work.
Work.
Okay. Yeah.
So, tightly twisted at work, with work. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you got to, okay, basically, untwisting the work would be required, but how would you process it and how would you move with it? Like I said earlier, also, you got to break it down again. You got to be open to let other things flow into you, come to you, not just be stuck with that tightly twisted work you're in. Look at other directions, remove your focus, go for a walk, come back, and look at things differently. Um, if you're in a challenging situation where you are at work and you say, this doesn't work out for me, there's uh, too much going on. I feel like everything is closing in, and I feel a tightness around me, or you really have to uh, discuss with someone what your thoughts are, what you want to do. I don't know if you're the manager, maybe your manager, if he's open enough to talk, or talk to a friend who is an actual friend and out to help you. Uh, I don't know if colleagues are friends in office, but I think a friend is a friend who really wants to help you out and gives you an honest answer on how to loosen up the twist and untwist it. So if there's any way I can help you, Anita, or Ruqya can help you, we're here. We can both guide you, and that's it.
Super. She says work when I was working, but also when it comes to family. So yes, sometimes I like what Vidya has said here, and definitely made me smile. She says sometimes the bottle lid is wrongly twisted, as in the lid is not in alignment with the threads of the bottleneck. Oh yes, girl.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely right. And I think those are the hardest ones to knock open because it's just not sitting in the right place. Uh, I like this. So we've got Vandana who says, "Oh yes, we all are twisted by virtue of our upbringing, the association we keep and the insecurities of our circumstances. So true. Thank you for that value, Vandana, and welcome to the conversation. So we've got Kunen who has a very interesting question. He says, "Will will stopping self judgment be helpful to untwist easily?"
To untwist easily.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I think you got to accept yourself that you're judging yourself. Get into the loop and look inside and see why I'm judging myself, why I'm being like this to myself. That's very important. If you can do that, then you can move ahead and finally stop the self judgment. But it's again a process. It doesn't come overnight. It takes time. It takes working on. So you need to first be open that, okay, I'm judging myself. I need to work on it. I need to not do it. I accept myself the way I am. I'm the best person I am, and then go on from there. That's the best way forward.
Hmm. Awesome. I'm just going to look at Vandana's comment one more time because I really think it's great. She says, "We're all twisted by virtue of our upbringing, the association we keep, and the insecurities of our circumstances." And you know me well enough to know I'm going to ask you about the insecurities.
Okay, what do you want to ask, Rukia? Can I have your question?
I don't want to ask you. I'm insecure to ask you a question. So the insecurities of our circumstances. How again? I think there's a lot of self judgment that comes into place when we are being insecure about our circumstances, isn't it?
Correct. I agree with that. Um, we try to judge ourselves all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says, "Why did you keep the water bottle there? It's supposed to be here." And did I make a mistake? So that's the small self judgment. Then
Hmm.
bigger judgment. Uh, okay, there's so many people like me doing the same profession. So where do I stand? Where do you stand? Right? So we're judging ourselves again. But we are unique and we know what to do. And there is no Ruqya like that. There is no Pikki. There's no anybody like that. Everyone is unique. Everybody needs to look at that point. The more you dwell on, the more you think of moving forward with the positive energy, the negativity starts disappearing. It just vanishes. But you got to work on yourself for that. That's important.
Definitely is. And as you say, work on yourself. I got reminded. So for those of you who are new to the channel, do subscribe. That's important too, isn't it? I mean, like sometimes I forget. So, so why not? You said work on yourself. So I took your advice.
You know what? Such a talk show should be actually, we should be both in the same room. We should be having coffee and chai and talking to everyone. Rukia,
Oh,
that
what?
should be next on the agenda.
That should be next on my agenda. And I don't think this should stop us from picking our own cup of chai whenever we want to. I mean, like, what's this?
I ordered an hour back, nothing came. I'm with water.
I've got my cup of water over there. But anyway, so Anita says, "Thanks. Yes, the process to eliminate the negative and add the positives. Absolutely important." Now, we are looking at eliminating negative, adding the positives. Now, as we talk about that, what also comes to my mind is positive toxicity. That's a term that I've been reading a lot about, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's generally on social media. Positive toxicity, because people are now fed up of being positive, or people who constantly say be positive. So I'm like, that's not my blood group. I'm an A plus. But anyway, bad jokes apart, what are your thoughts on positive toxicity?
I mean, like you said, there's too much of this word positive going on. Be positive, do positive, whatever. But I think there's more to it than just being positive. You need to walk the talk.
Hmm.
So you've got to walk it. The positivity or the goodness has to ooze out of you. You can't just talk about it and write about it. You've got to do it in practice. If you can't do that, I think whatever you've done is wasted. You got to
True
walk
that.
it.
No.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, a lot of times people are so great at giving examples. And what they don't realize is people don't want examples anymore. They want to see you as that example,
Absolutely right.
right? And
Agree.
parents, again, I'm going to go back to parents. I'm going to go back to relationships, because that's so important in relationships. We like giving gyan to our better halves or to our kids, but are we doing it ourselves? Anita says coffee with Rukaya. Excuse me, no, me. It's ice cream with Rukaya, not coffee with Rukaya.
Chai with Rukaya.
No, I'm not a chai person. Ice cream person, pink berry. Anyway, yeah. Take it as I am. Take it or leave it. This is who I am. So yes. Yeah, I mean, like, I think people love it when you are authentic.
Yeah.
And I've showed up for 1,255 days now. And Picky, there have been good days and bad. There have been healthy days and coughing days. There have been days where I've been out and about and rushed up, and there have been days where I've been waiting for my life. I've literally set it up and I'm ready to shoot, you know. So, and people connect with that when you're real,
Mm.
right? So, what are your thoughts on being real and being perfect?
I think being real is more important than being perfect
Can anyone ever be?
because it's a tough one, but I mean, when you're talking to someone, are you gonna say what you actually mean? You don't know the person, but you have to say something. Would you say what you want to say and say, "Am I gonna hurt the person's feelings?"
Hmm,
So you're thinking about the other person. So are you being real to yourself?
perhaps not.
Yeah. So how are you gonna do it? You're gonna do it sugar coated, diplomatic, or are you just gonna say something? So it's crazy. I mean, where I live, I mean, they all know that I just go and say what I have to say, and then it's up to them how to take it. Now they take it. This, if I don't say something, they say, "Can you please say something? Just tell us what it is so we can do something about it."
Silence can be so loud sometimes, isn't it?
I saw that in one of your daily messages also about silence. So, yeah, it is very loud.
It is very loud. And when you talk about being real and perfect, you say, okay, actually, the thought that was coming to my mind is untwist and smooth out, right?
Mhm.
So, smooth out according to whom?
According to yourself, what is best for you, what you want to achieve. Like I said, it's like planting those seeds. So, are you willing to plant your seeds and move ahead? Are you willing to let the buds grow into beautiful flowers or trees or fruits or vegetables? Are you willing? Is the question. So, if you are and you're open to it, then move ahead, smooth it out. It'll all just fall into place. Have faith in yourself, have faith in your abilities. It'll happen. You just got to do it.
True that. I like this. Vandana says, one of my favorite phrases is direction is better than perfection. I like it. One of my favorites as well
Very nice.
from this
Very
moment
nice.
onwards.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Vidya has a comment. She says, "I strongly believe that being practical is more important than being positive. How right or wrong am I?"
So, being practical is more important than being positive. Um, it's situational. It's situational because uh, sometimes if you're in the middle of something and you got to uh, make a decision, you'll weigh the pros and cons and do it with a practical purpose. Yeah. Um, Positive. I mean, if you're doing it with, as a practical thing, so are you already positive? My question to Vidya. So does positivity flow in because you're being practical? Somewhere it may. Somewhere it may. So it goes hand in hand. It doesn't work alone. So if you're being negative, can you be practical?
Hmm,
Food for thought.
definitely food for thought. I think sometimes when we look at things practically, and yes, I haven't played the devil's advocate in this episode, so I am. Okay, I don't need to because Vidya's answering the question. She says not always. So
Not
not always,
always.
not always. So when we look at things from a practical perspective, is that perspective an excuse to not move forward?
Practical perspective. No, it's not an excuse. Not an excuse at all. You got to still move forward. But if you feel, no, this is where I can get, I have, done my SWOT on myself or whatever, and this is where my direction is. I cannot go further than this. I think you're limiting yourself. You need to look at the limitless opportunities which are there for you, which you're unable to break a small window into. So that's very important. That's where it needs to go, not just this.
What I'm really taking from your conversation today is slicing it up, those small steps, that small window. So it's all about making a small shift, right?
You're
So I'm going to ask the audience today to write in comments saying, what is that one thing that you are taking from this conversation? What is that one change that you would like to make and commit to? It could be a tiny little change, could be anything that we spoke about in the conversation. What is the one thing that you would like to invest in as your commitment to yourself? Because we've invested our time, our energy, this conversation in you. And we'd like to know what you're taking from this conversation. And as those comments hopefully will start coming in, Pikki, I would like to ask you a little bit about visualizing.
okay.
Totally out of the blue, right?
I know. I know. I think we had some conversations on this also earlier. So visualizing, right? So what would you do to visualize? So when you visualize, the steps before that is to actually uh, feel feel that whatever you're about to ask is actually with you. So you get in the moment, you get it all in the body, you get it in your soul, in your head, everywhere, that okay, this is what I'm going to feel. If I say, okay, uh, I'm going to, um, I need to get a house by November this year. And I put a date. Right. Maybe it's not practical, maybe it's practical. I don't know. Just an example. And then what do? I put a date, I write it down, and I just keep it. But then I start talking to myself about it. I start visualizing what that house would be like,
Hmm.
what it's going to contain. I look at myself with closed eyes walking through the house, touching the furniture, touching the fridge, having like minded people sitting with me, having beautiful conversations, and going in that flow. So the whole process is in three steps: ask, visualize, receive. So then, while visualizing, sometimes actually you can even smell everything. The smell. It depends upon which of your senses is strong with you. So some people can smell, some are feelers, some think more, or I don't know. Everyone is different. So
Absolutely.
it depends on that. But then it happens. But you got to visualize. You got to visualize. Like Vidya said, be practical and visualize. Of course, be practical and visualize. But do not already have a doubt. Oh, she's saying she's going to get a house in November. Oh, that's not even practically possible. Who knows what is possible, how the universe works, how everything works around you, who's going to come in your life, what are you going to attract. Also, I wanted to add here that when you are open to everything, you actually get some very good people coming in your life, and they're the same as you. They have the same mindset, they have the same values, they have the same style. It's like you're mirroring each other at one point. And and there are also others whom you've not connected to for many years may try to come back because your energy shifted. You've got, you're vibrant, you're all over, but you got to know your place and take a step back. Do not do not get into an argument or conversation with such people. Move back, smile and move back, and go on with your routine.
Absolutely. And I like that you said the word routine, because what Vidya has written as her action point is, it would, for me, it would be have a small agenda for myself on a regular basis. More power to that. Thank you. And Vandana says, we'll try not to get affected by judgments and opinions floating around us. Thank you so much for this inspiring session. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us. If you found it of value, share it with people, because, as you rightfully said at that point, it all depends on the people you associate with, right? And week after week, I have amazing conversations on this platform with the people I associate with. These are people from my circle of genius, and valuable gems indeed. So thank you, Pikki, for your time and this conversation. And as you were sharing about manifestation, one thought that came to my mind is, um, to and again, as you said about the practical part of it, ask, receive, agreed, but also be sure that not to be not to be too clingy with a
Yeah,
goal.
not to be too clingy, and not to have self-doubt. And and if you're sharing it with someone that, hey, I'm doing this process for this, no need to share. Do it on your own. Do it yourself. Keep it to yourself. Work on yourself. I mean, talk to your soul, talk to your higher self, whatever you want to do. But
Yeah,
stay in the process. Trust the process.
trust the process. I think the crux of it all is trust the process, trust yourself, and yes, keep moving forward, tiny step at a time.
Absolutely.
So, in closing, What would you like to share with us?
Wow. Um, I think life has been beautiful, and it'll continue moving ahead beautifully. And I wish all audience and everyone who's gonna watch and are watching the show um, to to actually see where they can improve themselves, where they can change something, and that's the best way. If you need help, we're here. If you just want to talk, we're here. Not a problem. That's all that what I'll say. I wish everyone all the very best and go with the flow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Vidya says so much to learn and ponder upon. Kunan says, great insight. Thank you, Rukaya ji and Pikki ji. Thank you so much. Vandana again says, thank you, Rukaya and Pikki. Very true. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And please, again, share the conversation, come back to it, take notes, grow each and every day. Thank you again for your time, Pikki. I had an
Thank you,
amazing.
Rukaya.
Thank you.
Oh,
Lots
it
of love.
was fun. Very fun.
Absolutely. Thank
Bye.
you. Good
Take
night.
care.
Have a great rest of the day.